King Charles has approved a new one-off bank holiday to allow fans to watch the late-night World Cup clash. So they get next Monday off. It's pretty outrageous. I mean, how long does it take Scots to get over the fact that they've played their first match?
It sets a terrible precedent. So anytime anything happens, there is a call for a bank holiday.
Yes.
A bank holiday for this, a bank holiday for that. And normally the answer is no, because there's 8 bank holidays and it costs a lot of money to have a bank holiday.
It costs billions of pounds for a UK bank holiday. This will cost hundreds of millions of pounds to the Scottish economy.
I see the case
but
for
they
more.
can afford it, obviously. You could understand it more if it was their first game they've been in for ages, but it's the night before.
How hungover do they get?
It's the morning before, Gillian, not the night before.
They've got a whole day to get over their hangover.
I've watched England games in the early hours before. I've never had a bank holiday. And if you go to work, don't get sloshed. You can still enjoy the football without being out of your head on alcohol. And you have to just go to work.
Is that the sort of unspoken acknowledgement that it is about alcohol?
So, yeah, I think it's going to be shown in thousands of pubs in Scotland now at 2 a.m. You can imagine the state of people.
Good Morning Britain thought they were having a laugh. But for a lot of Scots watching at home, there was nothing funny about it. Following the announcement of Scotland's World Cup bank holiday, presenters on the programme questioned the decision and made remarks suggesting Scots would need the day off because they'd be too hungover after celebrating. And why can't we watch the game without getting sloshed, then go to work? And that's where the problem begins. Because this wasn't really about a bank holiday. It was about a stereotype that Scotland has had to put up with for generations, which is ironic considering England's reputation for drunken disorders at these competitions. The idea that whenever Scotland celebrates something, it must somehow involve excessive drinking. The idea that Scottish culture can be reduced to a punchline. The idea that millions of people can be casually mocked on national television because they're Scottish. Now, let's get one thing straight. People are perfectly entitled to disagree with the bank holiday. You can argue it's expensive. You can argue it creates disruption. You can argue it sets a bad precedent. That's a fair debate. But that's not what many viewers objected to. What they objected to was the immediate jump towards stereotypes, because when your first reaction to a national celebration is to ask how hungover people will be, you're not discussing policy anymore. You're discussing a caricature, and it's a caricature that many Scots are sick of seeing. Think about it for a moment. Scotland is a country that has produced world-changing inventors, scientists, engineers, writers, artists, and entrepreneurs. Scotland helped shape the modern world. From medicine to engineering, from economics to literature, Scottish contributions can be found everywhere. Yet somehow, whenever Scotland appears in certain sections of the media, the conversation too often falls back on the same tired cliches. The drinking jokes, the football jokes, the backward stereotypes, the lazy assumptions, and many Scots are asking the obvious question: would similar comments about another nation's culture be dismissed so easily? Because respect should not depend on geography. If we expect people to challenge stereotypes directed at one group, then the same standard should apply to everyone. What makes this even more frustrating is that Scotland reaching the World Cup is a genuinely significant moment for many supporters. For nearly 3 decades, Scottish football fans have waited for this occasion. Whether you agree with the bank holiday or not, millions of people view it as a moment worth celebrating. And yet, some commentators seemed more interested in making jokes than understanding why the event mattered to so many people. That disconnect is exactly why the backlash happened. Not because Scots can't take criticism, not because Scots can't take a joke. Scotland has one of the strongest traditions of humour and self-deprecation anywhere in the world. The backlash happened because people recognised a stereotype when they heard one, and they decided not to let it slide. The wider lesson here is simple. Debate Scotland's decisions. Challenge Scottish politicians. Question Scottish policies. That's all part of healthy public discussion. But reducing an entire nation to old stereotypes is something different altogether. Scotland deserves better than that, and frankly, viewers deserve better too, because meaningful debate is always more interesting than lazy stereotypes. The World Cup bank holiday will come and go. The political arguments will continue. But perhaps the real takeaway from this story is that many Scots are no longer willing to quietly accept being portrayed through the same outdated lens. A modern Scotland deserves to be discussed as a modern nation, not as a punchline. And that's why this controversy struck such a nerve.